Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I will make a prediction, and the prediction is about the Ukrainian leadership refusing to do or to follow the orders of their sponsors eventually. Why am I saying that? I think that the Ukrainian leadership, which is made out of four little pigs, the kosher four little pigs, which is Zelensky, Zmihal, Reznikov, and Yermak, all of the same, from the same club, they will refuse to follow orders at one point when the orders will be as such as relinquishing power, or dealing with the Russians, negotiating with Russians and communicating with them. I think they will turn, not turn, they are rogue, but they will turn very much independent, to put it their own way. And I think that's going to be the same exact pattern as we saw with the help or with the support of Mujahideen in Afghanistan when the Soviets invaded. The United States supported, sponsored the Mujahideen, and then the Mujahideen turned into Al-Qaeda, and then part of the Al-Qaeda turned into ISIS, and so on. So I think these guys will follow the same pattern. When you give them too much money, too much importance, too much apparent power, that's the key word, apparent power, they will really believe that they are their own people. And they will say, well, we got the money, we got the weapons, we do whatever we want. So when the Americans are going to tell these guys, hey, you got to talk with the Russians and all that, and they will pull the plug of these guys, they will not follow orders. They will say, well, for the sovereignty of Ukraine, we will not listen to anybody, and so on. And these guys were going to be blown up by their own sponsors. This is the way I foresee the future for them. Now, what did these guys do? If you remember this Zelensky, he wanted the West, not he, because he doesn't have the capability. If he had it, he would have done it already, many times over. He wants his sponsors, he wanted to preemptively nuke Russia. Remember his statements, right? He said, well, why don't you preemptively nuke Russia? So that would tell me that if he had those weapons, he would have done it already. Now, I read about, I don't know, 20 years ago, a study on the ants. You know, those little black war-like creatures. And the study determined that if the ants would have nuclear weapons, they would start a nuclear war in about 9 seconds. Well, I think Zelensky would have started a war. He would definitely beat the ants. He would probably start it in 1 second. So here we have Zelensky with that. The problem is he wants to do these things with other people's finances and weapons and risks, not with his risks. He can't do that because he doesn't have the opportunity. Now we have his office, an advisor. What does an advisor do? An advisor must be very knowledgeable, very diplomatic, okay, to understand the geopolitics. He has to have a lot of information, and he has to be very mature in his thinking. So I'm sorry to say this, I was 27, I was 35, and I thought I was mature. But with every day you look back and you look at yourself and say, you know, so when you have Podolyak or other advisors, and they are kind of, you know, of a certain kind of age bracket, you would think these guys advise a president. So this is what this advisor would probably advise Zelensky. This article comes from Al Mayadin. It's an Arab news outlet. It's from today, the 5th of November 2022. Zelensky office calls for strikes on Iran over UAV supply to Russia. An advisor of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls for the conducting strikes for conducting strikes on Iran over its alleged supply of drones to Russia. Podolyak, that's the guy. Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak, I don't think he's 40, said Saturday that it was necessary to conduct strikes on Iran due to Tehran allegedly supplying drones to Russia. Ukraine and its Western allies have long been accusing Iran of supplying drones to Russia in the midst of the war. So, this is what this guy writes on Twitter, this guy, Podolyak. Zelensky's advisor, it is necessary not just to impose sanctions or embargoes. It seems to me that it would be possible to launch specific strikes on the production of drones and ballistic missiles and so on Iran. Okay? So this is what this guy says. Now, as you know, Ukraine is led by 4 kosher people. They are the kosher 4 little pigs. Zelensky, Zmihal, Yermak, and what's it called? I can't believe this is the defense minister. So it's Zelensky, Yermak, Shmihal, and I can't remember the last one. I will remember him. It starts with Ornikov or something. Oleksiy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Anyway, I will remember this guy. Let me find him right now. Reznikov, god damn it. Reznikov, I was making Yernikov. Reznikov. So all these 4 little pigs are in charge of the Ukrainian nation. And it seems like they feel so important that they think that they really are what they are. These guys, I think, they want to start all kind of things thinking that they really are important. They're not important. They're clowns. After they run their course, they will be unplugged by the Americans. The problem is they will not agree to being unplugged. This is my prediction. They will not want to be unplugged. Remember, these guys received billions of dollars in bank accounts and in support. They have military assistance. They think they are somebody. Once the Americans are going to tell them go and negotiate with the Russians, they will say no, we don't, and they will start saying this is Ukraine's national sovereignty, we don't listen to anybody. They will be blown up by their own sponsors. That's what I foresee. These guys here. My concern right now is that these guys just show their color little by little by, you know, for instance, speaking with Germany and, you know, using the same shaming and all those tactics, you know, of shaming and feeling a little bit, you know, concerned that, oh my God, I can't do anything about it because these guys are 4 little pigs, kosher, so I have to, you know, using that kind of tactics, demanding weapons from everybody and, you know, telling everybody that if you don't give us weapons, everything that happens in Ukraine, it's your fault and blood is on your hands and whatever. They think are important because they were given importance at the beginning. They showed up on all kind of screens and all kind of parliaments and they're very blah 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 and blah blah blah. Their plug is going to be unplugged. Boop. And then what? They will not say, okay man, we do what we were told to do. They will be blown up because they really will believe that, hey, why would I want to quit? Why wouldn't I be the one I am, the most important guy on this planet at this point? Thinking that's real. So the fact that these guys, this leadership, thinks that Iran should be bombed by others, obviously, what are the consequences? Imagine that these guys would have nuclear weapons. The guys that are protected and pumped with weapons from the West fighting the evil Russians, aren't these guys, don't they show tendencies that should concern you? I think I have already enough signs from these guys that they would probably are even worse than others, if you know what I mean. And they support these guys. These guys were going to turn around and you're going to see hitting the Americans and the Western countries. You see, because they consider them weak in soul. Weak soul. Weasels. Not that Zelensky is a clown, an actor, a poor one, an ugly one anyway. But he's going not poor financially, because I think he's got his bank accounts filled up. So these guys are going to, they know that they deal with these guys like a rotten old monarchy that lost its soul. They can bully them around. You'll see. You'll see. When the Americans going to say just talk with the Russians, they're going to say no, we won't. You'll see that. In the meantime, yeah, why don't you strike Iran and see what happens. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.